Hey everybody, Dave here with Creative Hands Group, and we are going to be talking about the Bison Pan. It's a secondary condensation drain pan. In your attic you have an HVAC unit, and underneath that you have a pan that is, by code, it has to be there to catch any overflow if the primary line gets clogged. And what happens is it typically drains, the primary line drains into like a sink drain. With that draining over time, you can get algae buildup in there and it could clog that line. And so by code, they have a pan underneath it so that it would go out a secondary line into a pan and then drain out to a conspicuous place. With that, we had a pan that was made out of metal, and these are the typical ones you're going to see up in the attic are metal pans. You can see that this one has a lot of rust in it, and with that you'll see these folded corners. You end up getting pinch points there, or little pinholes, and it can leak out there. With this we had some problems. This is our third one we had to replace. Our house was built in 2013, September 2013 we moved in, and we've already had 3 of these pans replaced, and that cost was $375 each time we replaced it. That number was just too high, and I thought there's got to be a better pan out there. And so I created one that originally had a bottom out design, and you're going to see that this one's tapered down kind of like a sink or a shower, comes out the bottom. And you would have a pan that would have a gravity feed down to the orifice. And I felt that, with that bottom out design, you'd have a more complete drainage of that pan. We don't have to worry about it rusting. It's made out of ABS. And we called it the Bison Pan because it is just an iconic kind of animal out there that is strong, robust, handles the winters, the heat, everything that Mother Nature throws at it. And I said, wow, we've got, I want to create something like that. And we called it the Bison Pan because I felt it was tougher and stronger than any of the other pans that I saw out there for this application. Also, we have an American made. These are made in Birmingham, Alabama, which is great. And kind of central for shipping out different places. This ABS is 100% recyclable. It's not going to leak. There's no corner pinches, nothing like that. It's solid. So it's going to just funnel down to the orifice, the opening, and drain out more complete. If there is any residual condensation in the pan, well, it'll evaporate but not rust. It's not going to have that issue where it'll rust out the pan and leak. Most of these pans, the metal ones, what they're doing is they're adding a spray liner in it. And they're doing that to try to protect because of the rusting issue. Another type of solution they're trying to come up with was to weld up the corners. So those folded corners don't have that pinhole and leak. Especially where the water builds up and it rusts. It's just an easy point for it to rust through and leak. Getting that pan plus a spray versus an all-in-one unit that you can hang the same way, we felt this was a better solution for folks, homeowners out there. It's a one unit. You don't have to add another component to it to try to make it leak proof. It's just the way it is. Also, ABS is tested. The stuff we get is like a utility ABS, or we can get virgin ABS. It's tested to be able to handle conditions of about 186.8 degrees. And so, temperatures up in the attic, they're not going to get that high. You may get up to about 150. So it's no problem for the Bison Pan. This ABS will handle that, no issues. We made it a little more stout than some of the other ones. We want it to last a lifetime of your HVAC. Why not get a pan that you install once and it lasts a lifetime of your unit? That's what we used to expect out of products. And I think, with the Bison Pan, you can expect that as well, once again. Also, these pans are compatible with all the units out there. You know, whether it's a man or a carrier, any of those type of units, you have either a furnace or a heat pump styled HVAC unit, and we have a couple of sizes to meet that. This one is for your furnace style, so they're kind of more compartmentalized, where a heat pump is a bigger unit, and this covers the entire heat pump. We have both a bottom out design and we have these side out designs. These side out designs were requested by several different companies and wholesalers and HVAC installers. They said this is a good design for close proximity installations. And so we ended up doing that, making it so that it is something they're customary to seeing, very similar to like the metal pans. But as they have a 2-inch side height on the wall, we decided to do 2.5-inch. That gives you a little bit of room for mounting and a little more volume that it could catch. You have your side discharge. It has a standard fitting that the metal ones have. You can use that with the PVC fitting there, coupling. And these pans, they mount the same way as the metal pans. You know, up in the attic, you're going to see right underneath the cabinet that holds the evaporator coils and all that, they just put plumber's tape on there. They'll screw it right into the cabinet, and then they'll hang it down to the pan on the metal pans. A lot of the questions were, hey, how does this hang? It hangs the same way as the metal pans, except you just get it somewhat level, and the pan has sloped bottom. It goes from the edges down to the bottom is a 1-inch drop, and from the back to the front is a 1-inch drop. That gives you good tapering, good complete flow. So there really isn't a learning curve to have to know how to mount these things. It's just like the metal pans, all the installers do. Same type of installation. You can see that it works about a 1/2 inch down below the edge. No issues. The two sizes that we have are 36 by 61 and 31 by 36. So these cover those sizes perfectly. The units aren't square, and so we didn't make our pan square. We made them rectangle to match the fit of the units out there. When we had that leak and it damaged our ceiling, that cost was even higher. You know, we figured, why not buy a good product that's going to stop that? You're not going to have that ceiling damage. You're not going to have the replacement of the pan, the man hours to do it, all that. The Bison Pan solves a lot of that by a good installation once. If you want to come check it out, we have a product page, thebisonpan.com, and that will give you a lot of the information like what I was talking about. It'll show some images of this, renderings. And also, if you want to go to LinkedIn, we have Creative Hands Group there, and you can see our LinkedIn page. Also, if you want to go to our webpage, which is creativehandsgroup.com, and that's just our main company webpage, and we will have different products under that. One of these is the Bison Pan. So this concludes the discussion and installation of the Bison Pan. You can see how it works. You're going to see that this was the problem, and we didn't like it. So we came up with a solution, the Bison Pan. Have a great day.